Okay, so let's go ahead and call to order our, this is the Kingsburg Community Service Commission regular meeting, Wednesday, January 22nd, 2025. Call to order at 5:32. Let's see. Approve agenda. So do we have a motion to approve our agenda?
Motion.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. You some.
I'm sorry, Diana.
Let's see, presentation and informational reports. None. Public comment. This provides an opportunity for members of the public to address the commissioners on items of interest to the public within the commissioner's jurisdiction and which are not already on the agenda this evening. It is the policy of the commission to not answer questions impromptu. Speakers should limit their comments to not more than 3 minutes. For items which are on the agenda this evening, members of the public will be provided with an opportunity to address the board as each item is brought up for discussion. Any public comment? No? Okay. All right, our regular calendar. Approval of our minutes from October 23rd, 2024. Do we have a second? Okay. All right, item number 2, Parks Master Plan discussion and presentation. That's interesting.
So I'll take that. So good evening, commissioners. I'm Adam Castaneda, Community Services Director for the City of Kingsburg. We were scheduled to have a presentation by the Fresno State Parks and Recreation organization that's helping us with our Parks Master Plan for the City of Kingsburg. Unfortunately, their director has classes on Wednesdays, so they conflict with our meetings. We try to work out a Zoom meeting, but it's the same time frame, so it's very difficult for him to leave his class and do that at the same time. So we decided to go ahead and postpone the physical meeting here at the meeting. He would like to go ahead and host a breakfast or luncheon with the commission next Wednesday, and we'll kind of go into details on how that would work. But it'd be next Wednesday here in Kingsburg, just so the commissioners would get a better understanding of what the process is going to look like for the Parks Master Plan update. It would be, like I said, either a breakfast or lunch, just to kind of give you more of in-depth details on what the process looks like. And for commissioners that are new, this is for the Parks Master Plan. It's part of the city's general plan, but focuses on parks and recreation, which is what this commission helps oversee with my department. We will essentially take what was written out in 2002, which was the last time it was updated, and go from there and kind of get more of an in-depth view from current residents about what the needs are for parks and recreation services in the city of Kingsburg, and then that projects going forward when it comes to building new parks, new recreational spaces, and what it is the city needs to focus on going forward for at least the next 10, 15 years. So that's the overall project. That is the overall goal, is to get that updated and filed. And it's a nice time to be a commissioner. You guys will be a part of that focus, so that in 10 years, that's kind of the direction that the city goes for parks and recreation services. So with that, I don't know if there's a particular time or interest from commissioners. I need 3 commissioners that would be interested in sitting in with this breakfast or lunch, depending on your schedule. Of course, it'd be here in Kingsburg, hosted by Fresno State and the city. And then again, you just kind of get to meet their director, and then just kind of get an overview of what the next phase is going to look like. The staff report was created to be presented to council. So this will go to City Council on February 5th. Once they approve the proposal, which is the $33,000 to initiate this project, then we can potentially move forward with them and start the surveys of the residents and going out and outreaching, doing workshops with a lot of the service groups and local organizations to get their input, and then move forward from there. So with that, I'll hand it back to the chairperson, and you guys can kind of discuss what you'd like to see for next Wednesday.
Okay. So I'm happy to attend that meeting. Do we have two others? Jen? Okay. Okay. Perfect. And then as far as time, I'm pretty flexible if I know, I have an idea with time.
Jen, what about you?
Pretty much, if do you know the date?
Next Wednesday,
Wednesday.
the 29th.
Yeah, it should be fine.
Katie, would you prefer a morning or
Prefer if it could be earlier.
earlier? Okay.
If I can change my work schedule ahead of time.
Okay. So I'll follow up with Katie for sure, and then if you can't do it, then Diana, I'll open up the spot to you. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. Item number 3, inclusive playground discussion and update. West Star Construction and Community Service Director, Adam.
So thank you. Last meeting, the commission went over some details on the inclusive playground that was going to be part of the West Star Construction Phase 5 project. Met with Sandra, their one of the directors for their developments, and she's just let us know that the planting and implementation part of the project or for the playground has been given the green light to go ahead and go forward. So there will be an inclusive play structure at that West Star Construction Phase 5. Our next steps as a commission are to go through the game time catalog, which I believe I gave to you back in the last time we met in October. I can easily send out the link again, but right now it's essentially going through and selecting what you would like to see at the park. Kind of the initial phase. So I'd like to bring the subcommittee back together that included members of the public, along with commissioners, to kind of start overviewing what they'd like to see at the park. It's kind of a wish list, wish for all kind of approach, and then we can dwindle it down from there and try to take it the other way around and focus it mainly on budget, but there are no budgetary numbers to assign at this time. Just depending on what West Star is willing to put towards the project and then what the city would be willing to put towards the project. So we need to compile that playground list, what we'd like to see, what it would look like, what amenities you'd like to see out there, and then with that we can kind of start breaking it down and seeing what's going to be feasible for the allotted space that's out there. So I'm happy to send out again the catalog, 2025 catalog that was just released. So the last one you would have gotten was the 2024 catalog, but we can send it to you. And again, this is for the inclusive playground. It's a lot more inclusive than an ADA. All of our play structures are ADA compliant, but that is not to say the same for an all-inclusive playground, where it would encompass a lot of those that have physical disabilities, mental disability, anything that can get them to everyone to play together. So I'm excited for the project, but with that, I'll hand it back over to you.
Any of the commissioners have any comments or anything? No? Okay. All right. So our subcommittee will get together again with the community to talk about all of that, right?
Correct.
Okay, and we're focusing, because I know at our last one, we brought up Memorial Park. Are we just focusing on that park only?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So we're gonna break it up into two separate projects right now. But since we have the confirmation that West Star is going to put this in their Phase 5, let's focus our energy on that to get this project initiated, and then the Memorial Park project will be its own separate project.
Perfect. Perfect. I just wanted to clarify that, so then that way, as we're reaching out to community, we know, that we can tell them that we'll have two different things, and our focus can stay focused and efficient. All right, item number 4. Thank you, Adam. Item number 4, dog park grand opening and ribbon cutting discussion. Our community service director, Adam, again.
So this is going to be more for the commissioners. I don't know if all of you have had an opportunity to either drive by or take a look online, just some of the photos for the dog park project. It is essentially complete. All of the amenities have been in place. I think they're still missing 1 or 2 of the shade structures, but overall everything is pretty much in place where it needs to be. Restrooms were installed. They're working on the final electrical for the project, but that should be a green light to go within the next couple of weeks. Now is kind of the fun part where the commissioners will talk about grand opening ribbon cutting. I know, Katie, you mentioned some interest in kind of media outreach, so hopefully that's your area of expertise, but we'd like to solidify a date and then kind of see what the commissioners would like to see in regards to what that's going to look like, what the grand opening ribbon cutting ceremony you'd like to see out there at the dog park. So with that, I'll hand it over so you can discuss dates, maybe some ideas of what you'd like to see. I know we'll have to discuss some kind of funding, what our budget might look like for that, and then who'd be interested in kind of helping, I guess, spearhead that. And we'd invite members of the state to come down, other local leaders to come down, news groups to come down. It was a federally funded project, so that's definitely something we want to kind of pinpoint and share with the public. So,
Awesome, thank you. Great. So let's go ahead and discuss that.
Yeah, question. How long will it take to, or what's a good lead time for us to invite media and all the, like the funders and all of those? A month? 6 weeks?
Katie, what do you think?
For media, I would say probably a month out, and then a few follow-ups, including the day before and possibly morning of as well.
Okay, so a month. I know we just completed hydro seeding, so we're waiting for that to kind of take root for the landscaping and the grass to grow. Public Works says end of February, early March might be a good shoot point for something like that. The weather will be turning. Everything will kind of still be green. Give the grass an opportunity to kind of take hold and kind of cover up. If you do go out there, you will see there's still a lot of dirt area, but the hydro seeding has been sprayed, so we're just kind of giving it time to kind of take root, so that just enhances the beautification of the park before we do an opening. So maybe a March time frame would be appropriate, since we're technically on the last weeks of January. Do you have a preference on day of the week? Would it be a weekend event? Would it be a weekday event? Usually they don't last more than about an hour and a half. Invite them to come out and...
I feel like a weekend would be more inclusive to the community.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's for the community, so. Yeah. But that might be harder on the inviting, like, constituents outside of Kingsburg.
Inside of work hours. True.
I would love to do a Monday through Friday, but with being in Fresno and teaching, I wouldn't be able to get away from that. So a weekend would personally work better for myself.
I could do either one, but I do think a weekend would probably, for the community, would be best. Some ideas that I think are important too with the dog park and our ribbon cutting, because I know we do want like the various, I guess, political people to also be there. But with the dog park, for me, it's also information on safety for the people, their animals. So I think really gearing a little bit towards our community members being there so we can have information to pass out to them on how to properly use a dog park. It's not there just to let your dog run and then walk away. I think that's very important, having the dog park of our size in our community to get that information out. I think that would be the most important thing to really utilize our ribbon cutting and our media, stuff for. So I think a weekend would be ideal.
So we could potentially, all weekends are essentially open, but the 15th, 22nd, and 29th of March. 15th is the annual dinner in the evening. And then car shows in April. Senior Center has their dinner fundraiser on the 22nd, but again, that's in the evening.
Those are Fridays? Are you thinking of Fridays? Saturdays would be the 6th. Oh, this is 2024.
Oh, you're looking.
Oh, that's
Sorry.
old.
Do you have a
I'll use my phone.
updated one
Oh,
up there?
there's an updated one. Okay, thank you.
For me, on my schedule, really any of those weekends, whatever would be best for the city. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything coming up. Either, any of those work.
Well, the 29th has no other event. We could do the 15th, again, annual dinner, but that's in the evening. The city doesn't really take too much part in that. And then same thing with 22nd. I mean, that's a senior event, so that's kind of my department. So maybe not the 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
So the 15th or the 29th. I don't know if the 29th is pushing it too close to April, but up to you. So either those 2 dates, the 15th or the 29th.
I'm fine with the 15th.
15th? Okay. Would be a good time. Park opens at 8. That would be standard hours.
Is it open right now?
No, it's still closed until this happens. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Plus, because of the hydro seeding, we don't want them to disturb the. If you haven't had an opportunity to go out there and you'd like to, just outreach and I can take you out there and you guys can do a walkthrough if you'd like.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Time of day. What time?
Maybe 10 or 11?
That's what I was thinking.
10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Ceremony at 10:30, done by 11:30, and then just have the park open from that, and then depending on, so the local Save Mart reached out. They would like to partner with us on the ribbon cutting grand opening. They have a lot of, they call them vendors that they work with directly for pets and dogs, and they would like their businesses to come out and set up, a little display or giveaway, section at the dog park during the event, which I think would be nice, and we could, I know you mentioned dog safety. Maybe we're doing a workshop. Maybe Canine Solutions could go out there and do a brief little obedience class, or just kind of give out information. Commissioners will definitely all be out there.
Yeah, I can
maybe
create
handing out
information.
pamphlets or something, just to give them
Some sort of good
maybe
bag
like a
or something I
courtesy of
could
like
do.
these
Yeah.
are the rules of the dog park, which we've never established. So that might be something that
Yeah.
we could look at.
Just,
Is coming up with a general list of rules for those to follow.
mhm.
So we could do that. Okay, so March 15th, 10 a.m.
Would those people that want to come and do their, be there to sponsor, help us make goodie bags for the community?
I think it'd be great. We can kind of see what they have available. I'll sit down with the.
Yeah. Yeah, that might be good.
Yeah.
What about reaching out to like any of our local groomers or even the vets?
Okay. So I can definitely rely on the subcommittee to kind of meet beforehand, and if you're interested in just kind of going through, and Katie will have to add you into that group if you're interested, and so you can kind of help me with just the outreach and kind of where because I know you have an expertise in that area, so I think we can definitely utilize that and make this a successful event for the city. So, but okay, well with that, we'll go forward from there, and then we'll schedule some time for the subcommittee to meet one of these evenings, and then you guys can go from there. So
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you. Well, that's super exciting. Okay, item number 5, 2025 Community Service Commission project discussion.
Yep, so this will be the kind of the last thing I have on the agenda. 2025 is the start of a new year. The commissioners kind of always focus this time of year on upcoming projects when we're not currently working on a list of projects. It's nice to know that since 2018, 2019, the list of projects has continued to go down. Everything this commission has set forth to kind of complete is coming to that end cycle. The dog park was the largest project. The skate park was a large one. Updates to Memorial Park, Heritage Park. So there's been an ongoing list. Essentially what I'm trying to get at is it's a new year. If there are any commissioners that have ideas on potential projects that are coming up, we definitely want to take them and start running with them as we start closing out these current projects. I did get an email today from the state, released at 3 p.m., that the state is giving grant funding for Parks and Recreation again. Same type of funding they did for Prop 68 for local agencies to essentially put in their application for competitive projects. Up to $6 million would be the ask. And so that's kind of how that got the ball rolling for the dog park. So Definitely keeping your ears open about what projects might come up. I know Chairman Chambliss mentioned Memorial Park project, the complete renovation of maybe Memorial Park, doing an all-inclusive play structure, sidewalk, ADA. I mean, I know the bathrooms are done, but maybe a new band shell. A member from the public outreached not too long ago about the summer band concerts, and they would like to see a kind of a cement padded area in front of the band shell for those that are with wheelchairs or walkers. The grass makes it extremely difficult for them to get to there. I thought that would be a great idea. We could definitely have a walkway from one way to a nice cemented patio area for them to kind of sit and enjoy the concerts under the stars. So with that, I'll just hand it over back to the commission. If you have current projects that I can start working on and start looking at and put together for the next commission meeting, I'd be more than happy to hear them. But if not, we just kind of keep it on the back burner and just kind of let me know as they come in.
When does that have to be submitted for those grants?
August 5th.
August 5th. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Do you guys have any questions?
So this is specifically parks, it's not like anything related to senior center or anything like that, right?
Parks and Recreation, anything within that realm of either developing a new facility or updating current. Parks, senior center, aquatic centers, pickleball courts, basketball, restroom amenities at current parks, splash pads, anything that falls within the realm of Parks and Recreation. And right now their focus is on updating current, ones that need to be updated, or creating new recreational spaces and opportunities for residents in California. So
then part B to that, sorry, and you guys can, remind me again, and I know the space that's been set aside for the project off of Madsen for soccer and all of that, what was the total? It was a big cost, wasn't it?
it was like $42 million.
How much?
42 million?
Well,
$6 million's kind of a drop in the bucket.
We will have to revisit that project just because I think it was in the direction of council to go and move away from the talk of a sports complex. It wasn't within the funding. It just wasn't going to be a feasible project. So if that is the direction that we'd like to maybe pick that back up and see what it would look like, even to doing it in a smaller phase, maybe just green space instead of the parking lots and the community center and the senior center and auditorium and all that was included in the original project, then we could definitely look at that. But that would definitely be a council, they'd have to bring it back up to say yes, they want to see that project revived.
So the land still is there?
It's there. It's still not owned by the city. I should stop because I don't know where that project ended. I just know that council went ahead and said, at this time, I need to keep looking at you. I'm sorry.
The finance committee
Met.
Yeah, and it wasn't even to do like a public poll. It was going to cost a lot of money to see, right?
Yeah.
Councilmember Smith, and people sales tax or property taxes, our community, they decided to
Okay.
support the funds too.
I just didn't want to forget about it if it was something that the city still wanted to do. So if it's not, then we can focus on other projects.
Okay.
Cool.
Any other comments or no? Okay, so I think that kind of gives us just ideas to start thinking about what we need. I know, updating our Memorial Park is a big one for me, and stuff. And so some of our older memorial, our downtown one, and stuff. So cool, awesome, thank you.
Can I ask one more thing?
Yes.
So, and I know that I think this is maybe after the funding happens, but I'm curious, when will we have any type of activity in Memorial Park? I was just wondering about surveying the community in terms of what they, like if we said, hey, we have this potential idea of renovating Memorial Park, like rate 1 to 5, Memorial Park, the Teapot Park, or, senior center, something like that. I mean, in April, we have Swedish Festival. That would be one place to get people to so that it is really community driven. I mean, there's always going to be people that aren't going to always agree with the commission, but it would be nice to see what we can find out from the community.
Okay. This is on Wednesday for those that will have an opportunity to meet Sam Langford from Fresno State. If we can get council to go ahead and say yes to the proposal in February, then they'll start the surveying. That's essentially the biggest pool of the Parks Master Plan, is getting what the residents want and where they want to see the city going in the next couple of years. So I think with that project in hand, working simultaneously with this new state project or grant cycle, we might get the answers that we're looking for, because they'll kind of spearhead, making sure that all residents are, targeted and kind of given that opportunity to speak up for what they like to see in the community beforehand. Rather compared to us just kind of putting like a survey monkey together and sending it an email and hopefully get 30 people to respond. The biggest pull for the Parks Master Plan is going to make sure that they get the majority of Kingsburg residents to say something regarding Parks and Recreation. So, and we'll get to talk more about that on Wednesday, so that you can kind of see what the project is going to look like, and then and kind of incorporate what our vision is for the Memorial Park. That's our staple park for the city. That's the heart of Kingsburg, is that park. So we could potentially use that as a marketing and hopefully get the residents to kind of give us an idea of what they're looking at for that park. So yeah.
Okay. So, any other comments? Okay, so next item, future agenda items. Does anybody have any future agenda items? No? Okay. I think we should, for an agenda item, continue the discussion just like we always have done. We're even just us as commissioners, as we're waiting for more input from the community, to just create our own list. And then as we get input, we can continue to add to that list. So that way we just don't sit stagnant. And we can start, talking to individuals ourselves and bringing that back and continue that discussion. So we're not rushing when we get closer to that August.
So next meeting, bring a list.
Yeah. List of ideas and friends, family, that you guys talk to, and then that way we can continue this discussion.
That's perfect, because it'll give us a timeline. You can do that in February, kind of finalize it in March, maybe present it to council in April, and it gives staff at least from April to July to get the application and workshops together with the community, and then we can submit it before the 5th deadline.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's perfect.
Cool. Awesome. Okay. All right. So we will go ahead and adjourn our meeting at 5:59.